I wasn't even filming. I wasn't even filming on this camera. So I made a video about this book specifically, but there is a point in this book which is kind of a sub-point that I've been thinking about for way too long, and that is enjoy your obscurity. Now, what does that mean? That basically means when you have 0 followers, you should enjoy it. And the funny part is, when we have 0 followers or when we have a relatively small following, we don't enjoy it because we're always thinking about, you know, the next goal, the next milestone, which will help us to grow, which will help us to kind of validate what we're doing is correct, right? The problem comes when I am allowing this to affect my art journey and the fact that I'm not creating as much because I'm like, oh, what's the point, you know? And with that said, I'm actually going to be creating in this video, so why don't we jump into that first, right? I'm going to be using this moleskin to draw in. The paper is kind of crappy when it comes to watercolor, which is ironic because it's a watercolor sketchbook. But yeah, we're gonna be using this today. So I kind of mentioned before in the introduction that I've been feeling this weird sense of, you know, obscurity and how that's affecting me creatively, and I felt like this is kind of the point where I have to decide. I have to kind of make the judgment. Should I continue doing what I'm doing? You know, is it worth it? And all of that stuff. It's funny that in the beginning of my YouTube channel, I really didn't care what I made, and when I look back at those videos, even though maybe the quality's not great or whatever it may be, I actually really enjoy them, and I enjoy especially the art that I have made within those videos. And it's funny because most of the time when I make art these days, I look at it and I'm kind of like, this is not really great, but then I look at it maybe a few weeks later or a few months later and I'm like, hey, it's kind of a shame that I don't make this kind of art anymore because I make it so sporadically. And I feel like that's something that has become a trend over, you know, the last few years as my follower count has increased, even though it doesn't feel like it's increasing at all, or at least to a point that it's making a significant difference. It's kind of sad that, you know, I have equated my level of creation to my number of followers. And I think that's an unfortunate reality for a lot of creators or people who make stuff on the internet, you know? We kind of equate our worth to how many people are looking at our stuff. I guess I'm kind of making this video to get out of that rut, or at least to put those feelings out there so that I'm able to maybe overcome them, maybe? Initially, when I made this YouTube channel, I had a lot of stuff that I could teach because I was kind of, you know, I had all these skills and I was able to, you know, share them and teach them. And even when I look back at a lot of my videos, I'm kind of like, oh wait, I knew this thing, because, you know, I don't use that thing anymore, which is really bad. But I feel like now I've kind of got to a stage where I'm like, I need to learn more in order to put content out, and that has kind of also been a hindrance to putting out videos on this channel. However, there's another quote in this book in which Cleon says, you don't put yourself online only because you have something to say, you can put yourself online to find something to say. And I actually like this quote so much that I put it in the description of my blog, because I feel like that is such a me thing, you know? I feel like I've had an online presence for so long, you know, I've always put my work on the internet, whether that's my photos, whether that's, you know, blog posting, whatever it may be, since 2011, 2012. And I feel like that quote just really nicely encompasses why I've been doing it. You know, it's trying to find something to say, and ironically I called my blog Finding Something to Say because that's something that I always struggle with. Yeah. And I feel like that translates more relevantly to the art of creation and of making stuff. And I feel like when there's more pressure, you know, regardless of whether the follower count is making a difference or not, it's increasing, and which is a great thing, obviously, but it also means that there's more pressure, and when there's more pressure, it feels like I shut down and I have less to say, or I have less to make, less to create. Art is kind of a subset of creativity and of expression, right? Self-expression. I think art is just one way of doing that. People tend to think that art, like painting and drawing, is kind of the be-all and end-all of everything, but honestly, you know, it's just one one facet, you know, it's kind of like public speaking, it's kind of like journaling or making videos or whatever it may be, you know, it's just one way of self-expression. And the reason I love making YouTube videos is because it encompasses a lot of different things that I really enjoy, like video editing and writing and obviously making art and talking, right? So it's funny, I don't actually know what this video is or where this video is going, but I needed to put a video out this week, and so I don't know, I feel like this is kind of maybe something that is not necessarily useful, but it's something. So, regardless of where I am right now, I feel like I'm kind of in a stage where I need to do more work, right? And whether I have the time or not, I think it's high time that I step up and I stop making excuses and, you know, I start making the art that I want to make, because I look through my sketchbooks, I look through my journals, I look through, you know, old videos, and I'm like, oh my god, why don't I make this stuff anymore? So yeah, I think that's actually a good video idea. Maybe I should try that out. But yeah, I do have some ideas, and I hope that I am going to make more stuff. I really sincerely hope I will.